For my black fathers in the room, I understand you might be addicted to sports. I understand that you wanted to go to the NFL and you might not have made it, and now you want to live vicariously through your son. There's nothing more selfish than a black father to impose his athletic dreams on his son's ego. If that boy don't want to be a football player, there's nothing wrong with that. If he don't want to be a basketball player, there's nothing wrong with that. You had your life. Let your son live his. Because after all, the only people benefiting from black men going to the NFL are poor white women. They took the wives and they take all the money. So how is it Detroit will be no NFL or NBA? Because we're not benefiting from the NFL or NBA. Not only that, only 1% of all only 1% of all high school athletes will become professional. Only 1%. Your son has a greater chance of being struck by lightning than becoming a millionaire through professional sports. I'm not saying kill his dream. Don't take his dream, but make sure he got a plan B if plan A doesn't bother him. See, the problem with us is we let Raheem think he's absolutely going to make it no matter what. Problem with us, we let little Mike think he's going to absolutely make it no matter what. And then the sports coaches and the principal and the dean of students and the classroom teacher, they all collaborate in Raheem's low expectations. He don't have the grades to graduate, but we're going to keep him on the football field anyway. He ain't got the grades to graduate, but we're going to keep him on the basketball court anyway. And once we're done sucking all his athletic talent, we send him right to the local jail. Black men, there's no excuse to be dating outside your race.
None. None.
I ain't got nothing against Chinese women. I ain't got nothing against Jewish women. I ain't got nothing against Anglo-Saxons or East Indians or Latinos or none of that. But the black man's place is next to his woman. Because she has always been next to us. In slavery, she was next to us. Reconstruction, she was next to us. Civil rights, she was next to us. How do you disrespect the womb of your own mother by choosing somebody else's daughter, hand in marriage, and then you got the audacity to lie in public and tell me it has nothing to do with your inferiority complex? Black men date non-black women because you wish you were not black your damn self. Be honest with me. Be honest with me. I can't help who I fall in love with.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
That a Negro male cannot help who you fall in love with. Why is it every rich white woman has made it her duty to never fall in love with a broke-ass black woman? If it's an accident, why don't we see it the other way? $2 billion on Air Jordans a year is not acceptable. Black women, I love you to death. $30 billion a year on hair and beauty, you're overdoing it. My sisters, you spend more on beauty than half the countries in Africa have to operate for the whole year. And don't tell me it's because you're preoccupied with how you look. The question is, why are you preoccupied with how you look? Because the white man spent 400 years telling you you're ugly, so he's spending $30 billion to tell him you're not. A lot of our young people have been corrupted by multiculturalism. A lot of our young people have been corrupted by colorblindism. A lot of our young people have been brainwashed into fighting everybody else's fight except their own.
Yep.
A couple years ago, we had the George Floyd protest for justice. Black people took to the streets. Biggest social unrest since Dr. King's assassination riots. But we got nothing out of it. And the biggest reason we got nothing out of it is because we turned it into a multicultural we shall overcome day. Most of the people who protested in the George Floyd protest were white folks. According to the Pew Research Trust, 1 in 5 protesters was black. The other 4 was something else. Because you still are too ashamed to struggle by yourself. Black people are too ashamed to say I'm black and I'm proud. So let me tell you here, I'm black and I'm proud, Maryland. And when I speak, I'm not speaking for nobody else but my people first. Until you get to the point where your religious beliefs don't stand in your way.
Yes.
Being unapologetically African, we can never be free because of people who don't even want to stand up and be counted for who they are. Don't deserve to live. And you deserve to die. What did the good Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. say? A man who ain't got a reason to live or a reason to die ain't fit to breathe. Brothers and sisters, we can talk about what racism does to black children all day long, but we also have to talk about what black people do to black children all day long. If I go to your house right now, do you have a dictionary with more than 100 pages in it? If I go to your house right now, is there an encyclopedia, an entire set, A through Z? If I go to your house right now, is there a thesaurus in there for the children? If I go to your house right now, is there a bookshelf in there for those children? Is there any place in your house where a child can sit and think in peace and quiet and do some homework? Black excellence is hard work. Black excellence says you got to be the best version of yourself every day, even when you don't feel like it. Are we really ready for black excellence? Because if we are, that means black excellence also means you don't send a third grader to the psychologist for a special ed evaluation when you know the reason he can't read is because of you. You know the reason he can't read because there's no books in your house. The reason he can't read because he majors in TikTok and he majors in Twitter, he majors in Facebook. He don't major in reading and writing and arithmetic. See, let me be clear. 90% of all the children I've evaluated, and I've evaluated every race, 90% or more, they were never learning disabled. They were lazy disabled. Most of your children are lazy disabled. They can learn how to read. They don't care to learn, and you won't make them. Nope. I'm trying to understand. Frederick Douglass escaped from slavery to freedom from this state. Harriet Tubman escaped from slavery to freedom in this state. Henry Highland Garnett, one of the grandfathers of Pan-Africanism, escaped from slavery to freedom in this state. Taught himself how to read. Frederick Douglass taught himself how to read. Harriet Tubman was too busy. I don't think she ever learned how. But help me understand how we come from ancestors who could have lost their life learning how to read. But yet they learned anyway. But yet your son got books, laptop, cell phone, computer, and he needs special help in order to learn. His ass is lazy. But if it was up to me, we would diagnose children. We diagnose their parents. He's not reading disabled. His mother and father is reading disabled. He ain't ADHD. His mother and father is ADHD. How many of you have a reading hour in your homes at night, every night, where everything gets turned off and the brain gets turned on and there's a book in your hands? I can't remember the last time I went into a black house and they had a bookshelf. Social media is the worst thing that happened to black children. I thought the video games were bad. I thought the video games were bad. Social media is worse than the video game because they never get off. Even when you send them to bed, they still on their phone. And because some of you forgot that your job was to be a parent instead of a friend, you're more concerned with being liked by your child than raising your child. My single black mothers, I love you to death. I applaud all of you because you've been raising 70% of our children on your own with almost no help from the community, and you've been doing it for about 60 years. And I thank you for it. But some of you need to do a little better job. Because I'm seeing a lot of black mothers raise their daughters but love on their sons. Your daughter got discipline, your son has none. Your son is not your metaphorical husband. If you're missing a mate, go find one, but don't turn him into the man you need to support yourself emotionally. His job is to be a child, not your husband. I'm not talking sex. I'm talking the psychosocial dependence that a lot of black mothers have on their son's approval. How can you hold him accountable? Because he's too busy holding you accountable. Raise your sons and stop loving them. What is the number one job of a black parent? The number one job of a black parent is to teach your child discipline. And what is discipline? It's the ability to do what needs to be done, whether you like it or not. Does your son have it? Does your daughter have it? You got a whole generation of lazy black children whose parents are spoiling them. And I'm trying to understand, how can a black parent afford to spoil a black child who has to be twice as good to get half as much? Some of you are so concerned with how your child feels about you that you sabotage your responsibility as parent to be liked by your child. But what you fail to realize is when that child becomes an adult And they realized that mama let me make decisions I had no business making. Daddy let me make decisions I had no business making, and now they hate you for the rest of their adult life because you let them be an adult as a child when you should have forced them to be a child. See, I don't mind if my child is upset with me until age 18. They're going to love me from 19 until the day they die.
Right.
Because when they grow up, they see why you had so much discipline. They see why you made them do things the right way. They see why you was all over their back. And so the child who loved their parent until 18 because they let them do whatever they want might hate them until death afterwards. And the child who's a little upset at their parent for not letting them do what they want may love them forever because they can say, Mom and Dad, I know why you didn't let me hang out with so-and-so. I know why you didn't let me go to this school. I know why you didn't let me blow all your money on things that I don't even need. Raise them, right? They only get 18 years to be a child. After that, everything you put into their character at 18 will follow them unto the grave. And let me also say this. We have an epidemic of black parents who are putting your new relationships in front of your children. We got black men who know your woman don't like your children and you're with her anyway. Black women who know your man don't want nothing to do with your kids and you're with them anyway. Be careful. Because guess what? One day that man might leave, but the children will remember what you let him do to them. One day that woman might leave, but the children will remember how you let her treat them. Our babies didn't ask to get here, and we need to do a better job of taking care of them. Not only the ones you gave birth to, but the ones in your neighborhood. One of the reasons we have such a black on black crime epidemic is because we got children who have no remorse to take a life. Can't show compassion, but you know why? Because they never experienced it themselves. How do you show love when you never got it? How do you show humility when nobody was ever humble in your presence? How do you show empathy when nobody never empathized with you?